Okay, hello Ginger.
Hi,
So and
Paula.
yeah, so this is new and welcome everybody to this channeling session. Elisa is today. I'm the host. I'm Paola Marino. I'm the YouTube manager. I'm also the director of the documentary on Erik Medius. So I'm, I
Yeah.
just got into managing this channel like by default because it helped me to stay very close to the content basically and to what Erik is channeling and all of these things. And today I have with me the amazing Ginger Bailey, psychic medium. And you can find all the information about Ginger in the description box and also underneath, on the screen. And yes, I was saying that basically Elisa is on vacation, a very well-deserved vacation because
hmm
she's been working very, very hard. And she's been working on so many projects, like not only the Scalar Energy, Atlantis Scalar, but also she's been working on, first it was the encoded crystals. And you can see down below information if you are interested. And but lately she developed this new product, and which is a lot of people were interested in. So I can give some information also about this product, which is Vitalith MD with nutritional lithium. This is like it's a lithium multivitamin supplement. Okay, so and you can see exactly how to order and everything in the description box and this link that you see down below.
Yeah.
So this is out of the way now. And also, I see that you're wearing the Channeling Airy t-shirt. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm gonna get me a booster seat one of these days so you can see it so I can sit up higher.
This is the red one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You ordered a lot of colors, I
Yeah.
noticed.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
amazing.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love them all and
So
all the different designs too. Yeah.
yeah, people keep on asking me where can they can buy the t-shirts, information down below as well. So let's get
Eric
to
merch, right?
the,
Eric
I'm sorry?
merch.
Yeah,
Isn't it Eric
Eric
merch?
Merch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go to the topic. And I'm very interested in this topic now about Jesus and the miracles and what's behind, you know, how did these miracles happen. Nowadays we have more knowledge of metaphysics and more like we are more, let's say, yeah, we have overall some knowledge about it, following the spirit, the spiritual community and being into psychic mediumship and all these things,
And
right?
healers. Yep.
And healers, yes,
Mhm.
energy healers and all these things. And I've been watching The Chosen lately. Okay, The Chosen is this
Hmm.
TV series, and it's about Jesus, the life of Jesus, and the disciples. And it really, awakened in me that the wanting to know more about it. I mean, I was raised Catholic, but at one point I wasn't, really practicing it. So,
Yeah.
and now I'm just this renewed curiosity about Jesus and his life and everything. So,
hmm
and the miracles. So, let's start with saying that, okay, I have my notes here. What I found very interesting, and this is something I want to ask Erik through you. Erik
Yeah.
is
Eh,
Elisa's son, and he took his life 15 years ago. And that's why Elisa started this channel for, who's coming here for the first time, they don't know. And she started this channel sharing, she started a conversation through mediums with her own son. And now, she started the channel sharing all the knowledge that comes from the afterlife, basically. So Erik
Yeah.
is
He's
going to
here.
help you
He's
answering these
saying.
questions. Okay, thank you.
Yep. 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 Yeah, absolutely. You know, I I feel like what some of the things that we've been talking about ahead of time before I even got on here, some things might be a little controversial, that might come through. Okay.
Okay.
I was raised with a religion too. I'm not religious now. I'm spiritual. There is a difference. So, I mean, some of it can go together, but there is a little bit of a difference when it comes to that. So I just want to put that out there before we start, that there might be a little, controversy behind this, but just know that this is coming from spirit, not me. And it's, nothing bad or anything. It's just some things aren't what they seem sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I've been following this before going into the first question. I've been following
Mhm,
this YouTube channel, which is amazing. It's called Esoterica, and they were talking about how, and these are scholars that study, religions
mhm,
and the history and Jesus as a historical figure and all these things, and also that those times, and so I'm gonna read this notes, and it's interesting how other miracle workers from Jesus' time
mhm,
and the wider historical context include other miracle workers. During
mhm.
Jesus'
Oh
time, there
yeah.
were other miracle workers, and the ones that were like most popular were Honi, the circle drawer, and Hanina Bendoza, both revered Jewish sages from Galilee. Okay.
Mhm,
And the figures mentioned by Joseph, such as Theudas and the Egyptian prophet. While Jesus is a central figure in Christian narratives, these individuals were also seen as powerful spiritual figures associated with healing, rainmaking, and control over demons, though
mhm.
sometimes with less prominent documentation or historical consensus. So,
Right.
the
Yeah.
first question, my first curiosity is to ask about what was the difference between these miracle workers and also the fact that they were coming, all of them from Galilee, from the same region. So that's also very interesting. So, what's
Mhm.
the difference between these miracle workers and Jesus, really?
So he's saying that the only real difference is notoriety, like who knew of it, like more people knew of it. He's saying like they were known. Jesus was more known for more miracles. Yes, they did them, but Jesus was known more, like for more. He's showing. um there were many more besides that weren't noticed at all. If you think about it, and back then, if it was to be looked at what Jesus did as, they're miracles, yes, but if it was to look at as, you look at miracles today, as in healing, there's a lot of healers that you see that will heal people, do healings. I mean, even the scalar work. Look at the scalar work, the healing that it does. If you were to look at it in the same way, this is what Erik showed me, in the same way back then, he would have been persecuted even more so and would not have been an icon, a known person to be followed, a religious icon. Back then, that was the way it was looked at because of the way that he portrayed it, the way he portrayed God being the one and not himself, not coming from
Mm-hmm,
within. And it was
mm-hmm,
all in the way it was portrayed. So what he's showing me is that these other people, it was portrayed different. It was portrayed
mm-hmm,
different. Something about how
mm-hmm,
they portrayed it, how they maybe said, because I don't know who they are, but what he's showing me is it was the way it was portrayed. It was the way, it, like say they showed that they did it instead of it coming from God, a one God. So the
mm-hmm.
way it was portrayed. So and
Yes,
and a
yes.
lot less followers.
Mm-hmm,
Something else he's showing me too is like tribal, like shamans that go
yeah.
way back thousands of years. They were also healers and created miracles.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all in the way that it was talked about with Jesus, and where it came from was the difference.
Yes. I see. I see. What's interesting is that they were coming from this very, I mean, all of them were detected in this region, Galilee.
Hmm. Hmm.
Was there some practice going on where Jesus might have learned how to perform miracles? First of all, did he learn how to perform miracles, or he came with this gift? I mean, you come. Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah,
You
right,
understood the
right.
question.
No, 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 no. I know what you're saying. Something he showed me while you were saying that was he did have teachers. He did. A lot of stuff gets left out of the Bible. Okay. A lot of stuff.
I know that.
Yeah, yeah. There's things that are put in there, and they all have an agenda. Okay, everything that's put in there has an agenda. The way that they want, Jesus to look as this person, just like they don't want him to look like a normal man, first of all, because then he's not godlike. He's not special. Um, he was special though, even though they're portraying him even more so by exaggerating some things about him and changing stories around, and like him not having siblings, which we know he did, and him being the only one with Mary, the only child, things like that. Um, they portray things to look a certain way. Um, I got off track of what he was showing me. Oh, okay. He shows me Buddhist teachers,
Mhm.
um, gurus. He keeps talking about different religious gurus in a way. Druid, Hindu. He's showing me
Mhm.
different ones that Jesus had um, teachings from, and so did these other people. That you mentioned. Um, Again, he goes back to the thing is, though, he didn't talk about, I learned this from so and so. This comes from God, which I'm sure we'll get into a little bit more when we talk about the miracles and the science behind them, because a lot of it has to do with manifesting and belief
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
faith, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
So, yeah.
Exactly. Before going into the miracles and faith, very
Hmm.
key word I noticed. Before going into that in a minute, there is a question that popped up, and because you said he was a special person, and I remember once Bashar, the channeler, I mean the channeler is Derek Anka channeling Bashar. He said that Jesus was a hybrid. What does it mean? Like, if it's true, what does it mean, Erik?
Well, okay. So he's showing like everybody had some type of alien DNA that helped us evolve. Jesus, however, there was more to it, he's saying. So there was more to it with him. So he was hybrid. He was part alien, part human. The thing is, there's so many different species of alien. The type that he was part of was, and there's nobody better than anybody. When I say higher, it's just more higher evolved
Mm.
alien species. They've been part of the universe a lot longer. So that makes them more evolved, right? Because we are less evolved. The humankind is less evolved. But that doesn't make anybody better or, less or more.
Yeah.
So he's showing that he did have alien DNA. Absolutely. 100%.
Can Erik share which civilization?
He was showing me the tall whites, like the tall whites is what I seen when I
Oh.
was telling you that.
Mm.
Um, there's so much angelic energy in this species. And
Mhm.
they are one of the oldest, is what I've seen.
Mm.
So
Interesting.
that's what he was showing me when I was looking into the hybrid. He was showing me the tall whites. I could see
Yeah.
that.
Um, and going back to the birth of Jesus through Mary, so is it possible that Mary was actually impregnated by an alien energy? Like the angel that they say, maybe it was some.
Yeah. No, I'm smiling because that's something that I've always like felt too. Like I've always felt
Yeah,
that.
right.
And like it is possible. And I know that there are so many like conspiracies out there that like
Mm,
it was just put that way to be in the Bible, you know, so she looks more pure. But actually, they never do look at that direction. And it's
mhm,
true. Erik says it's true. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's
mhm,
why. Absolutely. And there are things, though, that are misinterpreted, I guess, or
mhm,
when you take one word, they say one like Virgin Mary, like the word virgin was interpreted different. It's more like young
yeah,
girl or young unmarried
mhm.
girl is really what it
I
meant.
read that.
But there really was something to this, Erik's saying. There really was something to her being implanted with, like he keeps showing, like an implant.
But was
Of
okay, how did it happen? Can you explain exactly how did it was she taken on a spaceship or and then
no,
impregnated?
mm-mm. He says no, she wasn't. She was visited. She was
Mm,
visited. And it was in sleep. It was in sleep. And they talk about angels visiting. I get like my hair is like standing up all over me right now, like this energy. They talk about like angel visits.
mhm,
So
mhm,
a lot of it's alien visits because
mhm,
when some people think of the word alien, they might think of like the little grays or whatever is well known as alien visits. But there are many different type of alien species, and a lot of them are very angelic because they're not
mhm.
from here. So alien means not from here, right?
Right.
So he shows a visit. He shows a visit. It was a dream. She had a dream, like she thought it was a dream, and then she ended up pregnant. Now, something that was hard back then was they didn't believe in this kind of thing. Like they didn't look at it like that. So it was everything was angelic, religious miracles, because it wasn't looked at as, oh, the aliens came and visited us. It wasn't like that back then. They didn't look at it that way. It was more, it was bigger. It was bigger. It was looked at bigger in a way
Mhm.
of being from God, from the sky, because they didn't understand it.
I see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
I was gonna say really quick. Eric's saying that there are a few conspiracies out there, but this is one that they've never looked at, and will will start to look at as we move forward and start to come in contact more with alien life.
mhm. Now, one thing I'm curious about is also John the Baptizer.
Hmm.
He was Jesus' cousin. They had maybe six
Right.
months apart. Okay, and John the Baptizer is the prophet that is making the way, for Jesus.
Hmm.
But there are these scholars who are debating whether John the Baptizer was also performing miracles or not, because at one point Jesus says he's a prophet, but he's more than that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he was referring to the fact that he was as powerful as Jesus or to something else. Maybe more than that, because John the Baptizer was a prophet, but was also making the way for Jesus. I don't know. But was John the Baptizer also performing miracles like Jesus?
He had done some healing, okay, is
Mhm,
what Eric's showing me. He wasn't so much like Jesus, is how Jesus performed, but he was healing, and just a little bit, like not like Jesus, like how they talk about the stories with him and healing, but they're showing
mhm,
that he had John the Baptist had moments of it, but it was more, yeah, he's talking more like prophet, like prophesizing,
mhm,
um showing people by things that he knows, helping people, guide them, which is
mm,
healing too in a way, but not like as in what you would think as making somebody walk or not be blind anymore and that kind of thing.
mhm.
Okay. um he did have some healing abilities that he used, but not as in the sense of
Mm.
Jesus, is what they're saying.
So one more question about John the Baptist, and then we go to
Mhm.
the miracles, I promise.
And he was his
So
cousin, by the way. He was his cousin. And Jesus had many siblings and relatives.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So uh, John wasn't sure that actually Jesus was the Messiah. At one point, he sent his disciples to Jesus asking, "Are you the one who is to come, or shall we look for another?" So he had a doubt about it. And then Jesus responded by having his disciples report the signs of his ministry: the blind seeing, the lame walking, and the dead being raised, which were fulfilling prophecies about the Messiah. So, um, so why did John doubt that Jesus was the Messiah? Why wasn't sure? He needed proof.
Well, it wasn't so much he doubted it, Eric saying, it was more so it was in the beginning of Jesus'
Mm,
his journey.
mm,
And he's showing, because again, he's showing me something about the writing of this, like some of
mm,
it's turned or
mm.
twisted. Okay.
Okay.
So he's saying that it wasn't so much a doubt, it was more so he was looking for, and he heard
Mm,
about this. Because actually, what I'm getting here, Eric saying, is that Jesus never really called himself that. He called himself the Son of Man, but he never called
yes,
himself a Messiah. He never called himself that.
yes,
So John the Baptist was hoping that it was true. He heard about it, but he didn't know yet. So that's why he was asking. So,
yes,
but this is kind of twisted a little bit, is what I'm hearing, the wording of it or the way that they wrote it.
yeah.
So it wasn't that he didn't believe.
So what's the reason why he never called himself the Messiah? Because the Messiah is the anointed one,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
anointed, you say that. Um, and David was the anointed, but he was the king of Israel. And there was this misunderstanding. Jesus didn't come here for this kingdom, for the
right.
material kingdom of heaven. So is this why he didn't call himself? He wasn't calling himself the
Um,
Messiah? Or
it was more so because he was very humble. He
okay,
wanted to show humility and be
okay,
humble, even though he was there to be the voice, and uh, show the actions of God, like we are in His image, those kind of things, right?
hmm,
But he never like wanted to be like, I'm here and you're all down here, and it kind of like
hmm,
made it like that, made people feel that way. That's what
hmm,
Eric's showing me, is it was the way he was thinking. It was very humble. He was very humbled, and it was just a title given to him, but
yeah,
he never said no to it. He just
yeah,
never acknowledged himself that way.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's go to the miracles.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the five main miracles that are very well known. The first one, turning water into wine. At the wedding of Cana, Jesus turned the water into wine, his first recorded miracle,
Mhm.
demonstrating divine power and compassion for human celebration. So, what happened there? How was he able to turn water into wine?
This is interesting. So, as something that Eric is showing me is there's a lot of power in thought and word. Okay. And whenever Jesus did something, if you look at the writings, and again, I want to express that the writings, a lot of them were exaggerated, but it doesn't mean he didn't do some of those things. It's just some of the things that were added to it. Um, his thought, he always said something, like he didn't just think it, he always used his words too. So that's like a double manifestation. So a lot of this was manifesting, but also, since he was supposed to, the fate of his being, his existence, was necessary for human existence. Okay. And our evolution, and Christianity and all of that. He had a direct, I'm seeing like a direct line to
Mhm,
source,
mhm,
along with the ability to manifest things.
mhm,
So it really did happen. It really did happen. Just like they talk about what is that when they turn like gold, like metal into gold,
Alchemy.
alchemy. Yeah, alchemy. But it's more than that. It's more than that. Eric's saying he's showing that there is a power that he had within his belief that he could and that it
Yeah,
would,
yeah.
and it really did happen. Absolutely.
Yeah, this is interesting because he talks about faith
Hmm.
all the time. Like if you know, and he reprimands his disciples, at least according to the writings and what is, has been recorded, that he always keeps on repeating. If you had faith,
Yeah.
if you had a little bit of faith, like a half of the grain of a seed, or something like that,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
would be able to move the mountains and things like that.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
and I found this, and I found a parallel to what Elisa says every time she talks about scalar energy.
Hmm.
So, and I wonder, because she said, if you don't believe in it, it's very hard for this to work on you
Oh
as
yeah,
a,
most of the
as a
blocks
healing.
are belief. Most of the blocks people have are belief or their belief system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I draw a parallel to that and so wow. And I wonder if, yeah, like you said before at the beginning, Jesus was tapping into that also zero field energy,
Hmm.
the one that Tesla,
Right,
was
right, right.
also developing in his, researches and stuff like that. But let's see more. Let's go to the second
Okay.
miracle feeding the 5,000. I guess now it's just the baseline is that basically for all the miracles.
It is. Yeah, Eric is showing too that there is a way in thinking too with manifesting, and I'm not a manifesting like pro or anything, but I was like somebody like throughout my life that always believed if you believe in it, it can be real, right? I always
Mhm.
had that way of thinking. But Eric's showing like it's about not just believing in it, but feeling something about a feeling, like feeling it, right? And
Mhm.
then when it, instead of saying I need something or I want something, he's showing like just knowing, okay, so one thing that Jesus did, he would start out with something and then make it more. Does that make sense? Like he's showing like if
Yeah,
you look at it as you already have it and I'm just
right,
making it better, you already
right,
have the
right.
eyes, so now we just make them see, we just make them better. It's kind of how
Yeah,
Eric's showing it, like in the way of thinking.
yeah,
It's hard.
yeah.
It's hard for human minds. We're limited. A lot of us are limited.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And also like walking on water. And then he was able to, like Jesus walked across the surface of the Sea of Galilee during a storm, stunning his disciples. And then Peter also started walking on the water, wanted to reach, to go towards Jesus, and then all of a sudden he got fearful because there were some waves, and then he
Yeah, the
basically
fear.
he dropped in the water, and Jesus, he was drowning basically, and Jesus
Mhm.
picked him up and he
Yeah,
said, why did you stop believing? Why did you get all
yeah.
fearful and you stop believing it? So I guess it's all there. It's all
It is. It is. And something Eric is showing me is that as we evolve, okay, humankind evolves, we will get better at this.
Mhm.
It's not like you're just going to say, okay, let this $1 million appear in front of me and snap fingers. It's not like that. It's what's needed and necessary for you, and learning that you are okay with whatever comes your way. There's so much to it. There's so
Mhm.
much to manifesting into what he did. It's not just like what you want, it's what's
Mhm.
needed for you, and you're okay with it. You're okay to what's going to be brought to you. You're not trying to control what's being brought to you. You're just okay, and you
Yeah,
believe in it you
yeah,
know
yeah.
um so there's a lot to that, but he's showing that we will be evolving to that, and there's very many alien species that already can do this. Can they just manifest things? They just manifest it within seconds. They can make
Yeah.
things appear, and there's also people on this planet that can move things with their mind already and
Mhm.
can manifest pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah,
instantaneously.
yeah. So, okay, so I'm not gonna go ahead with the miracles. Like, this is basically the explanation and what's behind it. And now, I want to conclude this session by asking, what does it mean the second coming? Because I have my idea. Let's see what's Erik's answer. What does it mean the second coming of Jesus Christ? What does it mean? Is it like, because some people take it literally, like the
Yeah,
Jesus that
it's not. It's
again?
not. Yeah, it's not literal. It's not literal. Um, Something that he's showing me is the change, the ascension on the planet.
Mm,
So the second coming, if you, I mean, it's not really something coming. It's not somebody coming or Jesus coming. It's not, that's not what that means. That is put in there to give people hope, he's showing, like give people hope. And it's also put in there to watch out, behave, because
mm,
he's coming, that kind of thing too. Because that is the mindset of biblical
mm,
writings, right? And religious thinking. You need to repent, you need to not be sinful,
mm,
but in the way I've seen it, that Erik has shown me, is that
mm,
there is no sin, there is no good or bad. Okay, even though
mm,
people do things that aren't pleasant or or negative. So the second coming, if you want to look at it in a spiritual sense, it's more of the ascension and where we're evolving to,
mm.
where there's going to be more peace on earth, and that is the truth.
Yeah.
But it's not that somebody's coming back to save us, because we
Mhm.
all have the ability to save ourselves within.
Yeah. So I guess with this great awakening that is happening right
Yes,
now,
that's a
uh,
big
I,
part of
I,
it.
I think this is the second coming, is
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
realization of our power. Like if we keep on raising our vibrations, so we become more and more aware of our own power, which is what Jesus wanted us to know, that we
right,
have
right.
live, and if we raise our vibrations by being, doing the right thing, like right things, like doing the things that keep us in that,
Right
in
up,
that high
right,
frequency,
right,
that high
right,
frequency. Exactly.
right.
So I guess that's yeah, that's
Well,
exactly the way.
what's important about this, Erik says, that Jesus was always trying to teach too, is that we're all one. We all come from the same source. We're all one. We're all connected, you
Mhm.
know? And that's something we will get better at, instead of being individualized and self centered. That self centeredness will eventually go away. And that's also part of the second coming. You want to look at it as the spiritual awakening is the beginning of the
Mhm.
ascension, of moving forward and becoming more aware. Now, if Jesus was like before his time, Erik says, so he was like a spiritual being, like it was more spiritual than
Mhm.
religious. But back then, they had to put it in that way. It's the only way they knew, right?
Right,
To put it in that
right.
way. And that's the way it was supposed to be put too, because it was fate to be that way, to evolve the direction it did. And Erik's going, I want to be clear that religion is an important part of the human existence, the human experience. So it's not saying don't believe in religion. Everybody has their different levels on where they evolve to, where they grow from,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
So
Yes.
it is necessary. It's a necessary part of our existence. But it truly is headed in a direction that's going to be like what they talk about in the second coming, but not
Yeah.
actually somebody coming, you know,
It
besides
can also be,
aliens.
yeah,
You said
exactly. That's
beside
what I was
aliens. Yeah.
thinking. That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking. Is it
Yeah.
possible that Jesus came to put us on the way, on the right way,
Hmm.
to prepare ourselves for this encounter with the aliens, with the tall whites, for the aliens who are coming here to help us evolve even
Hmm.
more?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yes.
that's also a second coming, like,
Yeah,
yeah. And
absolutely. Because he was like, it's not just one person coming. And
yeah,
when I said that, he was like, maybe the aliens. He's like just showing like,
yeah,
and it's not like in at the movies where they just show up. It's
no,
gonna
it's,
slowly. They're gonna slowly, show us. They're gonna show
yes.
themselves slowly. Yeah.
And apparently, as many people say, and I heard, we can have first contact when our frequencies are kind of matching theirs. Otherwise, there
Right.
is going to be a collective psychotic attack,
Oh yeah,
and
total breakdown of society.
yeah,
People are very defensive, very
yeah,
defensive, and fear, a lot of fear around it.
yeah. Because the
So,
society as it is now is like it's all based on false maybe values. Like we lost like many of the good values that we used to have. The values of community, of helping each other more and not being so
mhm,
individualistic, basically.
right,
So in this way, we're not really following Jesus, teachings, because if we had followed them, we would actually raise our frequency even faster and being
right,
ready
right.
to meet aliens. So, I mean,
Right, right. And everybody has, there's also so many different, like around the world, everybody has a different belief system, you know.
right, right.
Eventually it's going to be one belief system.
Hmm.
And this is
Right.
way down the road, but Eric's saying when we get to that, there will be, it'll be before that, alien life will share this planet, or at least show they're already sharing it with us, but show themselves here.
Right, right,
Um, and he's showing like, but right now it's like there's just so much individual in groups and individual in each other. It needs
yeah,
to come together as one. And Jesus talks
right.
about that,
Yeah, yeah,
like
it's
like
true.
loving everybody no matter what, and being there for them, and the ones that you feel as your enemy are the ones you love the most, kind of thing. Like he preached all of that.
Right,
So there's something to that.
right.
Absolutely.
One last question, because now I remembered one
Yeah.
curiosity about Mary Magdalene.
Hmm. Yeah.
Is it true that she was the only among all the disciples? She was the only who truly understood Jesus' message and his teachings, basically, and what he was
She
talking
probably
about.
understood it more than most, but she's not the only one who understood it.
Mm,
Eric's saying.
mm,
But she understood it more than most. Okay.
mm,
And something, that Eric has showed me about her is, again, there was a misinterpretation. They say she's a prostitute.
mm,
And I was
mm,
asking him about this once, right?
mm,
This was a word given to women who were self-sufficient,
mm. So,
who made
yes,
their own income, who did their own,
yeah.
like worked and brought in money. And that was a word given to them. It was a different word, of course, in Hebrew. And then it was turned into that when they, you know, interpreted turned it
Right,
into English, turned it to
right.
English. But something that is interesting is, and I think Eric's telling me this because it's important. Women were not looked at in a way of being providers, right? It was
Mhm,
the men that were providers, but
mhm.
so many women were providers for Jesus. Um, um,
Ministry, like,
yeah, his ministry. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. A lot of women, a lot of working women, and she was one of them, and she was the closest, and she actually was his wife. Absolutely, Eric says.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, that is a true,
So
true thing.
it's a true thing. I want to understand more if they were like an ordinary couple, or they were together in a very spiritual way, like how, like,
Both,
can Eric
both.
tell both?
Yeah, he just said both. Like it was a spiritual communion, but it was also in a regular way as husband and
Yes,
wife. The
yes,
Bible, there, remember there we just talked about earlier of scriptures missing, things that are
yes,
missing, and
yes.
also things that were never written because they
Right,
didn't want them written.
right.
So it was portrayed because Jesus has to be somebody who's not like a normal man, right? Even
Hmm.
though he wasn't, they still want to make sure that people did not look at him like just a normal man that got married or had children or had a
Yeah,
normal life, because he's supposed to be the
yeah,
special one, the chosen one.
right.
So it was written that way, but absolutely. And
Yeah.
something Eric says is that also in his childhood that they don't talk about a lot is he had girlfriends.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So he's just saying this because The reason why he's saying this is because he did do normal things growing up. He was a normal teenager, you know, in a way. Even though he was always drawn to help others and he still showed that spiritual side of him growing up, he did do like normal things. He did, you know, have
Oh,
girlfriends, and he's not showing like, okay, like today's girlfriend, boyfriend, right? It's more
yeah,
like he likes somebody, and you know, back then I think it was a lot different. Like you
yeah,
didn't, it wasn't the same as today, boyfriend, girlfriend when
yeah,
you're a teenager. But it wasn't anything long term or anything, but he's just
right.
he yeah, Eric's just saying like that's important to know that he was just a normal guy. And he just had extra, he's using that word extra. He was just a little extra, you know, than
Mm-hmm,
most.
mm-hmm.
It was necessary.
Yeah.
Eh.
So I know that this question has been, asked many times, many channelings, even in this channel, in this YouTube channel. But I'm going to ask it again.
Mhm. Yeah.
So did Jesus die on the cross?
No, 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 no. And he did live on. He did live on, in hiding, is what Eric's showing me.
Mm,
Um, this was necessary, though. This story was necessary.
mm,
He's showing me that, okay, so you know how we were talking about some of the teachers that he had, you know,
mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm,
taught him, they taught him to be very good in control of his body, his mind,
mm-hmm,
his bodily functions, like as in heart rate, things like that, when you meditate. So he was able to make it seem as if he was not alive. Back then, they didn't have stethoscopes where they listen to the heart, you know, kind of
mm-hmm,
thing. So they did not know, and he had help. And something that's interesting is there were help from Roman soldiers too. And that was how he got away, not
mm,
just his followers. There were other people that would not come out and say, I'm a follower of Jesus. It was a Roman soldier, right? Because that was
mm-hmm,
someone who's not, you know, they're supposed to be against him and follow their king. But Eric is showing me that he had a lot of help, a lot of secret help that
mm.
was never talked about.
Yeah, but did he know that he was going to implement that practice that he learned, lowering the heart rate and everything when, he knew that he was going to be crucified? And so was he planning on it? Okay, like, oh, I'm going to be crucified. I'm going to do that in order to survive this. Or was it not like he was doing it in that
You
moment
see.
on the cross, say, I can do this, I can survive this.
Eric says he knew before because he knew they were gonna crucify him. He also knew because remember he had like more of an open connection to source
Mm,
and spiritual, like me, like a medium. Like he actually had that. He had that ability as a medium. He couldn't call him
mm,
a psychic medium, of course, back then, but he had that ability.
mm,
Very strong, stronger than any probably medium on this planet right now, right? But he knew his future. He knew what needed to be done, but he also planned to try it. What Eric's saying is he didn't know if it was going to work though. So he didn't know if it was going to be successful, but that was his plan. And it did end
mm,
up working because, you know, he was tortured. He was tortured up there and it was a long time.
mhm, mhm,
Um, and he's just showing that oh, this is interesting. He's showing like a lot of stuff he did beforehand, teas that he drank, like different oils or something on the body, different
mm,
things he did to strengthen his immune system, and get him prepared. So he prepared for this. So yeah, it was
mhm.
ahead of time. He knew.
So when he was, according to the Gospels, before being captured by the Roman soldiers, he was in the Gethsemane garden to pray before Judah went to betray him and
Mhm.
give him to the God. So, and according to the recordings, basically he said, "Please God, take this cup away from me. Like spare me, spare me." Is it true that he had this moment where he was praying God, and then he said, but then it has to be your will, not mine, your will. So what's
Eric's saying that there's a little off about that. He says it's more about he did have a prayer, but it was more of helping him get through this if this was his, if this is to be, if this is your will. He did pray like that, but there's something twisted a little bit about the wording. Eric's saying
mm,
it was like he knew that there was no changing this.
mm,
But some of the things that are written, if you look at the way they're written, it's important because it helps others look at their faith and how they can overcome things. Okay. So
yeah,
that's more so why it's written that way.
yeah,
But in reality, he wasn't asking take this away from me. He already knew he had to do it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
And that's
great.
what a
Okay.
lot of the writings are. A lot of the writings are turned and twisted for their benefit, but there's also things that are in there very important for the wording to help people overcome, hard times and have
Hmm.
faith and believe and get them through things. So
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess I don't have any questions. I mean,
um,
if you yes,
one more thing Eric's talking about will, okay, because we all have free will. He
yes.
says a lot of the way that the Lord's will or God's will is portrayed in the Bible is because they want you to rely on that one and not yourself. But that was for biblical reasons. It's very important that people realize they all have the ability within them to heal themselves, to make their choices and decisions, and there's nobody that's going to change your path. And when you say God's will, you're really, if you want to look at it, it's talking about your own because we're all extensions of him, or her or it, however you want to look at it. So Eric's saying for people not to get too caught up on it being someone else's will. Make sure you know you have the power within you.
But that's because we still have, there is this collective belief that we are in this lack mentality.
Right,
It's a
right,
lack mentality. Like, no,
right.
I'm too small. I have to
Yeah,
believe that there is a God and it's
yeah,
God's will.
yeah, yeah,
So, and
yeah.
it's impossible. My will, I mean, I'm so
Right.
small. Yeah. So
I
there's that.
know that's true.
And
And oh, go ahead, go ahead.
no, it's the lack mentality. It's
It
not
is.
thinking that, yeah.
It is. And the thing is that it is important. It is important to know there is something beyond us, something beyond this life. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
But don't think of it as, this is Eric saying this, don't think of it as bigger than you. Start thinking of it as you're the extension of. We're all part of it. Like, change
Mm,
the perspective of it, he says,
I like
because
that.
it's important to not shrink yourself, you know,
Right.
and you can accomplish so much more that way. And this, we will get there, but it is important to change the perspective to do that.
Thank you. Thank you,
Hmm.
Eric. Thank you,
You're
Ginger. Is
welcome.
there
He said you're
anything
welcome.
else that, yeah, is there anything else
Uh,
that you want to add? Because I'm done.
I don't think so. That was it. Yeah. He says that's it. Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah. Yeah.
So I hope everybody enjoyed this session. Our viewers, if you have any questions, something I didn't ask, we can do a follow-up. No
Hmm.
problem. Or if you come up with another theme, we can talk about it, and I'll be happy to record another session.
Yeah.
So yeah. So thank you so much, Ginger. That was great.
Yeah, thank you. That was fun. That was nice. I always love doing things where I get to learn too,
Yes.
like things that
Yes.
Eric shows. So yeah.
So
So
thank
thank
you
you.
again, Eric.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ginger. And thank you
Yeah.
to all our followers.
Yeah. Eric sending love to everybody. Just loves them all. Yeah.
Okay. Ciao.
All right. Ciao.